but I am delighted to have with me on the Rebel News Riser Roman Baber, a strong candidate who finished very well. He joins us now. Roman, thanks for being here.
With you, Ezra.
Now, Pierre Poilievre, 68%, very dominant.
Yeah.
You were not an MP. You were active in the provincial PC party, but you debuted. I mean, for you to have a 5% ahead of Scott Aitchison, not far behind Jean Charest, I think you rung a bell. I mean, listen, Pierre Poilievre was dominant, but I think you connected with something in the Conservative Party. What do you think that was?
I have to congratulate Pierre on a very decisive victory. He ran a very strong campaign, and I have optimism for the future of the Conservative Party, especially given the depth that he showed tonight and the conciliatory tone that he offered to Jean Charest. I thought that was very good, because the most important thing we need to do right now is unite as a party, embrace all Conservatives, so we can defeat Justin Trudeau and eliminate what I think, frankly, is the existential risk of facing our democracy. Ezra, we've ran a terrific campaign. I've been fighting for Canadian democracy and for millions of Canadians that haven't had a voice for the last couple of years. Of course, it cost me my role with the provincial government, but I'm delighted that without question, we were able to push all the candidates in the democracy direction, and that means we help shape this race and therefore our party and therefore our country.
I just want to emphasize that. I mean, you were the MPP for York Centre, and you won that, which is, you know, in the Greater Toronto area, not too far north. So that's the kind of turf that the federal party will need to win to get a majority. To go from one district to winning votes across the country, I think people liked the fact that you suffered for the cause. You were kicked out of a government on a point of principle. That feels rare. That's a kind of ethical price to pay that few politicians have done. I think that's why you resonated. And I think you're right. I think the other candidates picked up on your message. How do you feel about Poilievre's comments about the Arrive Can app and mandates and other hangovers from the whole lockdown mania?
That he showed some depth tonight. He didn't scratch the surface. He went into substantive issues, and he drew a difference between himself and our Conservative Party and Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. I like the fact that he was very clear that issues of the economy is something that's very, very predominant, but at the same time, he did not leave individual choice and our freedoms aside. And I have every confidence that he will restore freedom of speech and freedom of choice, and at the same time, really resonate with Canadians on what is now turning into a major issue, and that is the cost of living. Justin Trudeau is going to be thinking about the next pair of socks he's going to wear. Pierre Poilievre is going to think about making life for Canadians more affordable.
Interesting things for me tonight was getting to know Mrs. Poilievre a little bit more. Now, I know she's been with him on the campaign trails, but her speech in English, French, and Spanish, the story of the family coming from Venezuela, that kind of story, it reminds me a little bit of your story, born in the former Soviet Union, in a regime that didn't value freedoms. I think that message resonates, and I think it helps Poilievre himself connect to new Canadians. What do you make of Anaida Poilievre's role tonight?
Perfect. And I think they gave an opportunity for Canadians to get to know this family a little bit. And I think it's important for not just for likability, but to demonstrate leadership. And Anaida and I share a similar story. We were born in regimes that didn't respect, in communist regimes. And so we know how fragile and how precious our democracy is. And I'm sure that resonated with her husband as well, obviously. I also think that without question, we have to appeal to more communities. We know that new Canadians come to Canada for democracy and opportunity. And those are Conservative propositions. And we should stop ceding new Canadians to the Liberals. And so I look forward to the Conservative Party contesting an election in the GTA, in urban areas, in areas where traditionally the Conservatives do not win. I think we have a lot of ground to cover, and I'm optimistic about the future.
I happened to writing that you represented provincially, and the Liberal incumbent there, Yara Sachs, is atrocious. She said the dumbest thing I've ever heard anyone say in Parliament, and I've been watching Parliament for years. She said that honk honk is a symbol for Heil Hitler because it starts with the letter H. She was trying to imply that there was some sort of anti-Semitism there. And she's Jewish and I'm Jewish and you're Jewish. I just thought you're renting out your religion to score a political point against the truckers. I thought it was atrocious. I think that district is open for the Conservatives to have a win. I think the combination of the atrocious incumbent, the fact that you won it as an MPP, and the fact that your profile has grown dramatically in this race. I wanted to tell you something, and this is my last question. I know you got to run, but I've heard two things many times in this campaign. I've heard people say, if Poilievre wins, I want Leslyn Lewis and Roman Baber in cabinet. And they always said, I hope that they get along with Poilievre, and I hope that they'll keep running. Now, Leslyn Lewis is an incumbent MP. I'm sure she will run again. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you get along well with Poilievre? Would you consider, I mean, obviously you want to take a break from this, but would you consider throwing your hat in the ring again? You were using the word we, first person plural, to talk about the Conservatives. I'm really asking if you'll help get rid of Yara Sachs.
First of all, I'm incredibly grateful to so many Conservatives coast to coast that have shown myself so much kindness. Kindness is something that I thought has been missing largely from our nation in the last couple of years, but I've met so many wonderful people, and I'm incredibly encouraged. And I'm also very encouraged by the new leader. We have a very positive relationship, and I have faith in him, and I expect him and hope that he will be our next prime minister. As for myself, I haven't made any decisions as of yet. I'm going to take a little bit of time off and recharge. I'm going to spend a little bit of time with my loved ones. I'll speak with the new leader and see what he thinks. But regardless of whatever happens in the future, I will support Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party in the next election.
All right, there you have a Roman Baber strong showing tonight, a man who certainly stirred the file of the pandemic and the lockdowns and made the case in the most principled manner.